So I'm curious, from your perspective, what's an underrated storyline that we should be keeping our eye on when it comes to the Irish?
I think it's just talking about how deep this class really is. I mean, a lot of people are talking about the top heavy guys when we're talking about Charles Jagason, Jeremiah Love, and Drake Bowen. But really, when I was passing along with Tim Priester, my coworker at Irish Illustrated, I was ranking the class, and we do it every year. I was really struggling because there was that bottom tier and or the lesser guys. I don't see that with this group. I really think this class is loaded from top to bottom, and there's a lot of guys who are going to make an impact in this team. And this is the kind of class you need, like I said, to compete and actually win a national championship. So, for example, one of the lower ranked guys in the class, Sam Pendleton, an offensive lineman, I think he's going to be a multi-year starter, a guy who plays early for Notre Dame, and a guy who's one of the more underrated guys across the country. That's the kind of guy. If that's your bottom half of the recruiting class, I mean, this group really is special. It's heading to South Bend.
Looking forward to seeing them in action. Tom Loy, thank you so much, as always, for the great insight. Let's bring it back here to our national desk, and our friend Andrew Ivins looks a little bit different.
Yeah, look at me.
We have Josh Pate in here, and looking at what Marcus Freeman has done after one season there at the helm, what's your pulse? What did you see from Marcus Freeman this season that you like looking forward?
I think the start of the season got a lot of people out of whack. Let me close this. It's distracting. Got a lot of people out of whack about how to gauge the hire and gauge the new staff and gauge the new era up there. We did a segment on Late Kick back in the spring when everyone was making fun of Brian Kelly because of really serious football things like his accent. And people were talking about how, that's not going to be a fit. And then Marcus Freeman loses a few games to start his career at Notre Dame. Oh, that's not going to be a fit. And it's just, you breathe deep for a second, and then you fast forward a few months, and they're sitting here both squarely in the top 10, have outside shots, both of whom to finish in the top 5 today. And it's one of the rarest things in sports when you see a transaction, either when it comes to player trades at the pro level or when it comes to coaches moving around at the pro and college level. Hardly anybody ever says, "Ooh, it was a win-win." Someone gets the upper hand more times than not. And in this particular case, Marcus Freeman was exactly what Notre Dame needed at that time. Brian Kelly was exactly what LSU needed at that time, up to and including this very moment in time. And you can't find anyone to speak ill of either one. It's like, it's the craziest thing in this sport where everyone is so contentious and everyone's got a torch in one hand and a pitchfork in the other hand, to have Notre Dame folks saying, we wish you well, BK. We got our guy up here. And then LSU folks are like, we're happy to have your guy down here because he's our guy now. So when you dive into the class a little bit, I think what Tom's talking about there is really interesting because that is not always the language that we've used to talk about Notre Dame classes. Once upon a time, you had maybe what you would call a crown jewel or two, and then where you hope to have a really beefy tier 2, there's not a bunch, and then you just got a bunch of tier 3, all due respect. In this class, you got several crown jewels, and then you've got other guys where you say, while I don't think I would put his face at the forefront of the poster that we eventually send out later today, that guy's going to be a multi-year starter for us. And also, and this is just my feel, some of these classes we look at on signing day, because of the A&M effect this time last year, you have in the back of your mind, yeah, but how many of them are really going to be in that class this time next year? I could be wrong on this. I just don't feel that way about Notre Dame. I feel like they use probably a little bit different sauce to recruit than most programs do, even with Marcus Freeman in the house. And I feel like if there is a right reason to commit to a program, that still exists, by the way, if there's a right reason to commit to a program, those kids committing to Notre Dame today are doing it for that reason. They've got to be over the moon excited about what's going on up there right now.
It's hard to forget the video that came out of them announcing Marcus Freeman as the head coach and just the reaction from the players in the room. You have to imagine that recruits just as excited to play for a guy like that.